Hank, who had been a mutant since his feet were completely different from human, never wanted to live his life as a mutant. Those very feet gave him power to run at incredible speed. That's why he created a serum that could possibly remove his mutation and turn him into an ordinary human. But the moment he injected the serum into his legs, his feet suddenly became normal. However, within moments, a strange changes started happening. His legs began growing even larger, faster, and more terrifying than before. At the same time, his body transformed into a colored beast-like creature. We're dropped into Nazi-occupied Poland, 1944. Concentration camps, where Nazi soldiers are separating Americans into two groups. A young boy named Erik. He's just a kid, scared, confused, clinging to his mother. But the moment a soldier rips her away from him, something inside Erik snaps. He reaches out desperately, and here's where things get surreal. Every metal object in the surrounding area bends toward him. The iron gate buckles. Objects fly. It's as if the boy has become a living magnet, and the entire world is made of metal. This display of raw, uncontrolled power does not go unnoticed. A man named Shaw, the camp's commander, is watching, and Shaw is not afraid. He's fascinated. He pulls Erik into his office, sets a small coin on the table, and makes the boy a promise. Move the coin with your mind, and your mother walks free. Now stop for a second and really feel what this moment is. A terrified child, separated from the only person he loves in the world, being asked to perform a miracle under the coldest emotional pressure imaginable. Erik tries. He focuses with everything he has. Sweat, tears, desperation, and nothing happens. The coin doesn't even tremble. Shaw, without a second of hesitation, raises a gun and shoots Erik's mother dead. Right there, right in front of him. The grief hits Erik like a shockwave, and so does something else entirely, something monstrous and powerful and unleashed. Every metal object in the room tears itself from the walls and begins flying. Soldiers are pinned. Equipment is shredded. The room turns into a tornado of steel. And Shaw? He runs. Because for the first time, the Predator is afraid of what he's created. Also in 1944, we meet a young boy, Charles Xavier, who is a completely different kind of child in a completely different kind of world. He lives in a mansion. He has a warm bed and an empty house and a life that couldn't be more different from Erik's. One night, Charles wakes up to grab some water and finds a girl hiding inside his kitchen. She has completely blue skin and she's shape-shifting to look like his mother. Now, most children would be terrified. But Charles? He smiles. Because Charles can read minds. And he can tell immediately that this girl means no harm, she's just hungry and afraid and alone. Her name is Mystique. And from that night forward, these two very different mutants grow up together, practically as siblings. Fast forward 18 years. Erik is now a dangerous, methodical adult. His bedroom wall is covered in photographs of every person connected to Shaw and his mother's murder. He's been hunting them down one by one, crossing borders, breaking into facilities, leaving a trail of violence across multiple countries. He is not a hero. Not yet. He's something closer to a ghost with a grudge. 18 years later, Erik has now grown into an adult, and he is determined to kill every person responsible for his mother's death. His room covers with photographs of his target. One by one, he plans to hunt them all down and take their lives. Meanwhile, another important character is introduced, Moira MacTaggart, a CIA agent who is tracking a suspicious American colonel. She follows him, in disguise, all the way to a secret meeting. Shaw is there. And Shaw is not just some criminal mastermind. He is a mutant himself, with one of the most terrifying abilities you can imagine. He absorbs energy. Explosions, blasts, shockwaves. He doesn't just survive them. He drinks them. And then he redirects that power. To demonstrate exactly how untouchable he is, when the colonel tries to threaten Shaw with a grenade, Shaw simply takes it, lets it explode in his hand, absorbs every single joule of that blast, and then channels it directly back at the colonel. One touch. Gone. Shaw also has a team. Emma Frost, his right hand, can read minds and turn her entire body into living diamond. Azazel can teleport anywhere instantly. Riptide can conjure devastating storms and vortexes at will. Moira watches all of this and realizes she's out of her depth. There is only one person she knows who can help. She finds Charles Xavier. Charles listens to everything Moira has to say. Then he lays out the problem clearly to stop Shaw. They need a team. But not just any team. They need mutants. And to operate officially, they need government backing. The CIA agrees to fund a special covert division, Division X. And with that, Charles uses an extraordinary device built by a scientist named Hank, a machine called Cerebro. Cerebro amplifies telepathic power to a scale that is almost unbelievable. Charles puts it on, and suddenly, he can feel every mutant mind on Earth. But before they can recruit a team, something else happens first. Charles uses his telepathy to lock onto Shaw's location. He reaches out mentally and immediately gets slammed shut by Emma Frost, who blocks him completely. And at that very same moment, Erik has also found Shaw's ship. He is already there, already attacking, already hunting. Shaw's crew throws Erik into the ocean, and Erik, fueled by rage but limited by his physical body, begins to drown. Charles dives in and saves him. This is the moment these two men meet, and the chemistry between them is electric. Charles sees in Erik something brilliant and broken. Erik sees in Charles someone genuine and dangerous in a completely different way. They aren't friends yet, but the door just opened. Back at Division X, Erik makes his position clear. He has no interest in joining a team. He has one goal: kill Shaw. Everything else is noise. At Division X, a scientist named Hank has created a highly advanced machine called Cerebro, a device capable of greatly enhancing telepathic power. But Charles is patient. He challenges Erik. He uses the Cerebro and through it, he was able to sense the location of the mutant all around the world. And slowly, reluctantly, Erik begins to listen. Charles and Erik hit the road together. They scour the country and eventually the world, finding young mutants hiding in plain sight. Most of them have never met another mutant in their lives. Some of them are scared of what they are. Some of them are thrilling in it. They encounter Logan briefly, just long enough for Logan to tell them exactly where they can go. Classic. But eventually the team starts to form. Banshee, who can produce ear-shattering sonic screams powerful enough to let him fly. Havoc, who fires explosive plasma rings from his body. Darwin, who adapts to survive any threat. Angel Salvador, who has dragonfly wings and can spit burning acid. And Mystique, who has been with Charles since childhood but is now questioning her own identity more deeply than ever before. These are young, untrained, emotionally raw mutants. Not soldiers. Not heroes. Just kids who've spent their whole lives hiding what they are. Charles begins training them. And alongside training the group, he also works individually with Erik. In one of the film's most memorable scenes, Charles asks Erik to bend a massive satellite dish positioned far in the distance. Erik says it's too far. He strains. He focuses. Nothing. Charles tells him something that cuts right to the core. Anger alone is a locked door. But when you combine it with something else, with love, with grief, with the full spectrum of who you are, that's when the door blows open. Erik closes his eyes. He finds something underneath the rage. Something that hurts far more than hatred. And the satellite dish bends like wet clay. Meanwhile, Shaw is playing a long game. He's been manipulating world governments behind the scenes, feeding tensions between the United States and Russia during the already explosive Cold War. His goal is almost too evil to believe. He wants to start a nuclear war. He wants humanity to destroy itself completely. Because in the ruins of a nuclear world, mutants who can survive what humans cannot would inherit the Earth. And he's close. Terrifyingly close. The Division X team intercepts information suggesting Shaw is meeting with a Russian military officer to advance his plan. They move to stop it, but when they get there, Shaw isn't present. Emma Frost is. They manage to capture her and bring her back to their facility. Inside her mind, they finally see the full picture of what Shaw is planning. And it's worse than anyone imagined. But capturing Emma Frost has consequences. Shaw now knows exactly where Division X is located. And he comes to collect. Shaw's assault on Division X is brutal and efficient. He doesn't just destroy the facility. He goes after the recruits themselves, and not with violence at first. With words. He tells them they are gods among insects. He tells them their powers are being wasted in the service of a world that fears and despises them. He invites them to join him. Some of the young mutants fight back hard. But Shaw's team is on another level entirely. In the chaos, Darwin tries to protect Angel, and in doing so, becomes the first casualty of the war. He is killed. And Angel? She walks across the line and joins Shaw. When Charles and Erik return and learn what happened, the atmosphere at Division X completely transforms. The training that follows is no longer practice. It's preparation for war. During this intense period, two more things happen that will shape the rest of the story. Hank, who has always despised his mutation, has been secretly working on a serum using Mystique's DNA. He tells Mystique he believes he can use it to make them both appear fully human. Mystique surprises him. She refuses. She tells him she has made her peace with who she is, and that he should be free to make his own choice. Hank, still desperate to shed his mutation, injects the serum himself. For a brief moment it works. He looks completely human, and then the formula turns on him. His body begins to change in ways that cannot be undone. He grows larger. He turns blue. He becomes something raw and powerful and terrifying. The beast is born. His mutation wasn't removed. It was amplified. Meanwhile, Shaw makes his move. After orchestrating the political conditions he needs, the Russian also provides Shaw with a special helmet capable of blocking telepathic attack. From that moment onward, nobody can enter Shan's mind or read his thoughts. Following the manipulation, the Russian naval ships begin moving toward American warships in a direct confrontation. The Cuban Missile Crisis, one of the most dangerous moments in real human history, is being engineered by a mutant who wants civilization to burn. Both fleets face each other with weapons ready. Every second is a countdown. And then Shaw takes one more step into darkness. He has the Russian military officers aboard their own ships killed to prevent them from backing down at the last moment. The X-Men team arrives in the chaos. They destroy one Russian vessel, using another to create confusion, buying enough time to make the American fleet retreat and defuse the immediate standoff. A nuclear war is narrowly avoided. But the real confrontation is still coming. Erik finds Shaw's submarine. He tears it from the ocean floor and hurls it onto land through nothing but sheer magnetic will. The final battle is brutal, both teams clashing in a full-scale mutant war on the beach. And then Erik reaches Shaw. Charles tries one last time to stop him. He argues that Shaw should face the law, that killing him would make Erik no different from him. But Erik puts on Shaw's helmet, a device designed to block all telepathy, and Charles is instantly cut off. He cannot reach Erik anymore. He can only watch. Erik reaches into his pocket. He takes out the very same coin Shaw placed in front of him all those years ago, in that horrible room. With his mother standing behind him, not knowing she was seconds from death, he uses that coin to kill Sebastian Shaw, slowly, deliberately, looking into his eyes the entire time. It is one of the most chilling and emotionally complex moments in any superhero film. You understand exactly why Erik is doing it. You may even feel he's justified. And that moral ambiguity is the whole point. What happens next changes everything, not just in the film, but in the mythology of the entire X-Men universe. Meanwhile, both the American and Russian governments, having witnessed the full power of mutants, reach the same conclusion simultaneously. These beings are a threat. Launch the missiles. Kill them all. Erik intercepts every single missile in flight. He stops them cold in midair. And then, with quiet fury, he begins turning them back toward the fleet. Charles fights him verbally, desperately. Moira grabs a gun and fires at Erik. He deflects the bullets magnetically. But one of those deflected bullets travels off course and strikes Charles Xavier in the spine. Charles drops. Erik rushes to him. He pulls the bullet out with his powers, his expression unreadable. He looks at Moira with rage. But Charles, even while injured, even while losing sensation in his legs, tells Erik not to blame her. And here, quietly, the weight of everything settles in. Erik begins to realize that Charles was hurt because of the path he chose. Because of his war, his violence, his rage. Two men, two visions, one impossible friendship cracking right down the middle. Erik believes mutants must fight for dominance before humanity destroys them first. Charles believes the two species can share the world, that peace is possible. They love each other like brothers, and they will never agree. Erik takes his followers and leaves. He becomes Magneto. He frees Emma Frost from prison on his way out. Charles is left on that beach, unable to move his legs, watching the man he cares most about disappear into a future he fears. He takes his mansion back home and builds Xavier's school for gifted youngsters, a place where mutants can learn, grow, and become something more than weapons. And in one final bittersweet scene, he kisses Moira and erases her memory of everything mutant-related. Not out of cruelty, out of fear. Because the world isn't ready, and neither is he. X-Men First Class isn't really about superpowers. It's about identity. It's about two brilliant people who want the same thing, safety for their kind, and arrive at completely opposite conclusions about how to get it. It's about the moment trauma stops shaping you and starts defining you. And it's about how even the deepest friendships can fracture when the stakes become existential. Erik and Charles aren't enemies because one is evil. They're enemies because they're both right and both wrong in ways that neither of them can fully see. That's what makes this one of the greatest origin stories ever put on screen. Now here's where I need something from you. If you enjoy this entire recap, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification. We break down films exactly like this: layered storytelling, hidden themes, emotional beats you might have missed the first time. And I want to hear from you in the comments, Team Charles or Team Erik. Who do you actually agree with by the end of the film? Drop your answer below. I read every single one. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.